Next misconception. OBE is all about CO, PO, and PO. It is all about documentations. When you say OBE is all about CO, PO, and PO, this is not true. CO, PO, and PO is a part of the OBE. Don't forget, CQI is also a part of the OBE. It is not just the outcome. It is a system. And next accusations. It is all about documentations. Some do not believe in documentations, especially those who are not from the education background. Also, even those from the education background, there are two groups of people. One of them do not believe in documentations. Let me give you an scenario. The purpose of having the documentations is for sustainability. If you are looking at the life cycle of a program, you would like the program to last as long as possible, generations by generations. Let's say now you are talking about engineering program. It is one of the oldest field of study which is still active today. Now, if you do not have any proper documentations, let's say now you have a master, know everything about the relevant programs. The longest period that the person can service the program, it will be up to the day he or she retired. What happened after that? Of course, he or she can mentor the successor so that the successor can continue with the program, and the successor can mentor the following successor without proper documentations. Now, can you guarantee 100% of the knowledge transfer from a successor to the next? Can you guarantee the consistency in terms of the knowledge transfer over several successors? What if, towards one end, the person possessing the significant knowledge about the program do not have sufficient time to train the following successor, or he or she is reluctant to transfer the knowledge to anybody? The chain now is broken. Nobody can proceed, and nobody can secure the similar levels of quality. But if you have all the documentation in place, even though there is a break in the chain, all the information is still transferable. You can still learn from the documentations. That is the importance of the documentations. You see, there are a lot of debates between the industrial peoples versus the academicians. Academicians like documentations, but it is troublesome to the industrial people. This is totally understandable. Industrial peoples are profit-making. Every second counts. They don't see the significance of documentations other than pulling their legs. This is totally understandable because of their emphasis, and also because of the relatively short lifespan of their businesses. If you are talking about small to medium scales of company, you see, if you are talking about really big and listed company, the level of documentations is still there. Do you know why? It is about the sustainability. Now we can say that documentations has a close relationship with sustainability. Now let us get back answering this question. It is all about documentations. This is also not true. Emphasizing the formats and template miss the true spirit of OBE. Although we are looking into the sustainability, the documentations allow us to refer the informations over a period of long time. All the informations over a period of time can still be traceable, to the level of accuracy and details as per the levels that the time it is documented. This cannot be achieved through verbal communications or verbal transfer of knowledge from generations to another generations. Now settle the sustainability part. If you focus everything on the formats and the template, that means you are missing the big point about OBE. You forgot that you need OBE as a tool to help you to improve the program, which at the same time OBE encourages you to document the process, allowing you to have the ability to trace the informations and having the ability to narrow down and discrete the weaknesses and strengths of your program. This helps you to find the root cause of the problems within your program. And then another important part about OBE, it will be the continuous quality improvement. So if your understanding about OBE is all about documentations, that means you are not putting into the right focus. Another misconception, CQI should focus on teaching and learning. Probably among all these misconceptions here, this one is better. At least this one accept the OBE, just that the focus and the emphasis can be further fine-tuned. So is it true that CQI should focus on teaching and learning? No. The CQI should be in the broader aspects. It can also involve the OBE implementations itself. Now, if your OBE model cannot do really good analysis and does not reflect what is actually happening, whichever result yield from the OBE analysis is going to be misleading. No matter how you improve the teaching and learning quality, it is still not meeting the purpose. So what you need to do here is you will have to adjust the OBE model, look into the limitations and the weaknesses of the OBE. What is the cause making the OBE unable to reflect what is actually happening? Then you will have to reconstruct or revise the model so that it skews towards the reality. After that, you will focus on the weaknesses in terms of the teaching and learning, as well as improving the quality of the assessment. The quality of the assessment here is not simply means the assessment result. If your assessment does not reflect the actual situations, you will have students not meeting the requirement, pass with flying colors. Now, if you evaluate the OBE model simply based on the passing rates of the students, this may not reflect the actual situations. You cannot say that since all the students pass with flying colors, that means the teaching and learning methods are well in place, because your assessment is not accurate. So, going back to these questions, CQI should focus on teaching and learning? The answer is no. You have to look into all the aspects. Going back to the fundamental, what is the purpose of the OBE? Now, if we go through all these misconceptions, you will realize the fact that even within the same program, at different stages of the program development, under different conditions, whether the lecturers are well trained, whether there are resistance of the lecturers to the OBE, whether the program has already been well established, even though within the same program, you will see the emphasis and the purpose can change over time. At different period of time, a program may face different challenges. you should have the ability to identify those challenges. And normally there are a lot of problems and challenges that you can identify through OBE. Now the next step here, it will be your strategy. You will have to select the priority, which you feel is more important. Probably you deal with that first. Which you feel it is more easily achievable. Probably you deal with that first. Which you feel that's going to lead to larger implications. Probably you deal with that first. There will be a process of give and take. There will always be imperfections within the program. And it should be the common interest of all the academicians within the program. This is not fully the responsibility of CQI committee, while the other lecturer complaining about the imperfections within the program. Everyone should participate. Everyone should come to a mutual understanding. We settle this first, and then next, and then the following. Now the spirit here is we're going to see the growth and progressions of the program. Over time, the program becomes better and better. Instead of sitting there complaining OBE, reluctant to learn about OBE, complaining the incompetency of the CQI committee, if you feel the CQI committee is not doing a great job, maybe you should consider to stand out, take the responsibility. If you feel like you have a lot of negative comments towards OBE, this is okay also. If you feel like you really need to voice out this, you should. But this is conditional to when you really fully understand OBE. You cannot simply complain, giving negative comments on the OBE without actually knowing what it is. Let's say now if you have gone through the modules, the videos that I have shared about the OBE, from the first videos to the last, and then you realize that actually most of the things that I have mentioned, you know already, and you know better than mine. By then, you have all the qualifications to comment on OBE. Where are the weaknesses of the OBE? Then you push for improvement. OBE itself can also be improved. And this is the beauty of OBE. OBE model does not exclude itself from being modified and improved. By then, you will have a more thorough, a better version of OBE. Probably this will become the example to the other institutions. Now you are leading the industry. Think about it. If you have all the talents, don't just keep it for yourself. Bring some benefit to the communities. Next, let me draw your attention towards this viewpoint, just as a strengthening to the concept here. Although this is arguable, personally I do believe to some extent it may be valid. Now, when the time is infinite, if you compare the OBE and non-OBE method, conditional to the same level of qualities, all the necessary components as required by IEA are effectively delivered, the area below the graph of the OBE will be much less than the traditional method. You see the advantage of OBE to carry all the necessary elements as required by IEA. This is often not systematically managed by the traditional method. It is really a doubt that this could be achieved without OBE. Now our assumption here is both can provide the equivalent qualities. It is still OBE that saving the time over a long run. You can consider a program, or you can consider the OBE in 3 different stages. The initial stage, normally it would be setting up the system. Much effort it would be required because you need to start everything from a scratch. Most likely a lot of things need to be done manually. Once it has been established, stabilized, we invest more resources into the software and the hardware to facilitate and stimulate OBE. Then follow the intermediate stage. This will be the stage of doing fine-tuning. You will see a lot of redundancy. You will be able to identify the significance and insignificance. You will also see there are some extra things which you may not be fully required. Then this is when you need to do some fine-tuning. You can simplify it to the comfortable levels which you feel just nice. Your ultimate goal now is to have the minimum effort to yield the maximum output. Now, many do not even enter in this stage. They put a lot of effort setting up the system and then maintain it. And what you see, the level of effort now for the OBE is more than the traditional methods. And this brings to these misconceptions. You don't want to have your OBE end up to be like this. You don't want OBE model to burden you. Therefore, once you have the system well established, consider looking into fine-tuning the system. Now, when you have done fine-tuning, the level of accuracy of the measurements are well verified. The redundancy have been removed. The reliability and consistency can be ensured over time. Once everything is well in place, now what you need to do at the following, it will be just program CQI. Your routine, it will be collecting the data, doing some simple analysis, and then implement a little bit improvements. Over time, it becomes more and more stable. The quality of the program improves, and the program is always closely in line with the development of the industry and the society. This should be the complete model of OBE, and I see most of the institutions, they stop at the initial step, or they continuously look at the initial stage, never entering the stage 2. And then they bypass it, go straight to the 3rd stage. And then because the system is not well established, the reliability and consistency is questionable. This leads the programs nowhere. And you will see a lot of effort being done in order to improve the program, but the consistency cannot be ensured. Now you are cracking your head, as if OBE does not work and it is as good as without it. And this, in another way, proves this misconception here to be true. And when they see this seems to be true, they are more believe and embrace the understanding that it is better without OBE. And then after putting so much effort, everything comes back to square. It is a waste of time and effort. It only increases the workload and serves no purpose. Think about it. We are hoping the best for the program. We really want our program to have the ability to compete with the institutions in the global market. You need to know the fact that no matter you believe or disbelieve in OBE, this has already been specified as a compulsory requirement by the accreditation body. And it is not only in your country, it is also in the countries all around the world. especially those signatory countries under the Washington Accord. And it is not just engineering. All the other programs are also adopting OBE. It doesn't matter when you do not believe in OBE. You can choose not to use OBE, but there will be programs, institutions, or even countries which are truly believe in OBE. There will also be true masters of OBE somewhere in the world, really adopt the fundamentals of OBE, digest it to the bottom of it, and then put them into actions and implementations. Over a period of time, you remain stationary, still standing at your place, but they have been progressing rapidly into another era, even though you maintain the quality as you used to be. As a relative comparison, when they are growing rapidly, it is as if you are moving backward while they are moving forward. Now you're going to ask yourself, is this what ultimately you would like to see within yourself, within your program, and also for the sake of your graduates? I would say that it is nearly inevitable to have OBE as a part of your routine if you are working as an academician. Instead of having so much resistance, so many complaints, very reluctant, why not you open your mind, transform yourself into somebody that can champion and lead the academic industry towards brighter future. Maybe one day you will come up with a better model replacing the OBE, and this is widely accepted by the academic community throughout the world. Then why not? We have another alternative, instead making us to be compulsory with the OBE. Instead of negatively being so defensive and reluctant to move, if you still strongly believe that OBE is something that will not work, you should take the active role, skew the entire education industry towards the directions which you feel is going to bring to the brighter futures. Think about it. All the best to you. No hard feeling, no intentions to penalize anyone, but these points are worth pondering.